Hello, YouTubers, friends, family, whoever is out there watching my video. Welcome. I want to tell you a story today. So if it's cold where you are, maybe snuggle up with some hot cocoa. If it's warm where you are, by all means, grab your iced tea or a frosty beverage, and sit back, relax, and let me tell you a story. I feel like I should have said bedtime story. Okay. So this is a story about a woman. And the story begins about 7 years ago, about 8 years ago. And the woman, this woman used to work a full-time job. This was after going to college, grad school, whatever. She got a full-time job. And about 5 years into the job, she discovered that she was miserable at the job. She was miserable, she was depressed, she had lost interest in her life, pretty much. She was so miserable and depressed that she thought, if this is adult life, she didn't want to live it. That's how miserable she was. One of her coworkers had left the job, and they met on the bus one day and started talking, and he shared with her a nugget that stayed with her. And the nugget was, we all have choices. There are consequences to our choices, but we all have choices. Meaning, you can choose not to go to work. You'd have to answer to your boss, but you have the choice not to go to work. You can choose not to pay your bills. You might have your services cut off, but you can choose not to pay your bills. And that stuck with her. It took several months and a powerful, prayerful experience for her to realize that she really was miserable enough to quit her job, and that she really was okay to quit her job. So she did. She quit her job. And the consequence was she had no income, and ended up losing her home. And she ended up moving closer to some friends. During this time, she had developed contacts, connections with an online network of super supportive women who taught her that she wasn't alone, that working a full-time job and being miserable was definitely not acceptable, not okay. And she had every right to want to choose to have a happier life. During the next few years of her life, she would experience having bed bugs, living in mold, and eventually living with rats under her apartment. So, and then she reconnected with an old friend from grad school who invited her to come and see something new. And she, of course, was super excited to go see her friend from grad school. And yes, of course, she wanted a new experience. She had just moved again and was in transition. And so she went to this experience and she saw something incredible. People being incredibly honest and open and real about themselves and their life and the life that they were choosing to live. People were choosing to be vulnerable. People were choosing to have emotions. People were choosing to express very openly their emotions and what they were experiencing. And this made her feel very excited. She wanted to be a part of it. And in the next year or so, she would not only be introduced to a new sport, but would also experience a couple of emotionally and financially abusive relationships. And during all that time, she had these groups of massively supportive people reminding her that she's loved, that she is a powerful person, that she's worth much more. And if you haven't figured out yet, this is my story. This is my story. And the supportive people in question are not only my friends, but our coaches, life coaches, and in some ways athletic coaches. I'm tearing up because I think about the fact that people think that, and have told me that they think that coaching is hippie shenanigans or that it's some cult. And it actually pisses me off that people think that shit, because I'm not even sure I'd want to be alive if it had not been for coaching and a lot of healing therapy, counseling, and things like that as well. I won't discredit psychotherapy. But it has taken me the better part of this last year, 2017, to really feel like I'm worth a hell of a lot more than the shit that I have had. It's taken most of this year to realize that I'm free to be whoever the hell I want to be. Creative, athletic, supportive, loving. And if you think that's hippie, the interesting part about it is that the people who think that it's hippie are people who are athletic coaches. And I just want to share with you that coaching is coaching. Whether you put athletic or life or ontological on the front of it, sort of doesn't matter. Coaching is coaching. When you coach your athlete to believe in themselves, that's exactly what a coach does, a life coach does. We don't just coach people to run a business. We coach people to believe in themselves, to believe that they are worth whatever it is they want in life. Okay. I kind of lost my train of thought, so I have to regroup. My former coworker had gotten into life coaching, and I didn't know what it was, but I thought if he was able to powerfully choose to walk away from a job that was making him miserable, there had to be something to what he was up to. I thought it was really interesting growing into the coaching community 7 years ago that people were freely talking about how miserable they were and what they were choosing to be happy. What I just shared with you was just a nugget of my story. I started to write out my story last night, and I'm not sure if it's going to be the next New York Times bestseller or my first speech or what. But I can tell you that the one thing that seemed to be very consistent is I always did what was expected. And the more I did what was expected, not only the more mental pain I had, but the more physical pain I had. Interestingly enough, the sport that I discovered was judo, which is one of the most combative sports that there is, and I've had far less pain physically since becoming a judoka than I did before, when I was not falling on mats. I can tell you that a few months ago, I don't think I would have worn fairy dust, and now it's pretty much a daily ritual to wear fairy dust. I'm very proud of who I have become, and appreciating myself for who I am, regardless of judgments, criticisms, people thinking negatively, because it's really not your business to think that negatively of me. If you're out there and you're hearing this, and this is something that you feel like you're experiencing, this is exactly the work that I do. I talk to people about discovering or exploring who they are and who they want to become. I truly believe that following your heart's desire is what we were put on this earth to do. And I highly doubt that that means that we were meant to all work the same kind of job. Anyway, I just wanted to share a nugget of my story. If it speaks to you, then I would appreciate if you would contact me somehow, some way. There's plenty of ways. Comment on this video, send me an email, follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Maybe if you're somebody who's been in my world for a long time and you're hearing this and you're going, wow, let's chat about it. I truly think that I truly believe that having a supportive network of coaches, of friends who believe in me, who encourage me, who sometimes fight me to go the right direction, to go the direction that I said I wanted to go, has made a difference for me. Yeah. I kind of feel like this is a good place to stop, because I don't really know what else to say. But I hope that this video is a launching ground for public speaking opportunities, stories of empowerment. I definitely have more to share athletically, personally, and the work that I do. But I just wanted to put a nugget out there to get the ball rolling. So if you are a venue, if you are someone who's looking for a public speaker for women's empowerment, athletic empowerment, something of that nature, definitely reach out. I want to talk to you about that. Yeah, so, all right. That's it for me, and thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your weekend.